We're going to take a break. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. This is Warren Ballentine, a.k.a. WB, and this is Common Ground. All right, everybody, it's Warren Ballentine, a.k.a. WB. This is Common Ground, where we try to find solutions to the problem. We don't try to point fingers. We don't blame anybody. We try to look at it from a position of love. We try to keep you informed. We try to give you up-to-date stuff that can change your life, that can help you out. And my next guest, oh, man, I'm excited. Like, when we do the YouTube Live, I've already said I need to have these guests on there, not only because of what they're doing with their podcast, but, guys, you know, hey, I got 4 sisters and a daughter. I'm a little partial to letting women kind of give the point of view because I just think women are more pragmatic than we are. But these next 4 ladies, when I tell you they doing something big, they doing something big. Let me ask you guys something. What happens when the voices you're listening to aren't human in the way you think they are? Not fake, not robotic, but built, shaped, and powered by AI. See, everybody's talking about AI like it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. No, it's already here. These next guests stepped into it early and became the faces behind one of the first AI-generated podcasts doing it at this level. I'm talking about a group of women who built a platform where real stories meet new technology, where culture, conversation, and innovation all collide. The platform is VWR, and at the center of it is something they call Relative Roll Call, where your story becomes the conversation. And I love that name, by the way. Just, I'm going to put that out there. We've got the voices behind it right now. We got AB, we got Dreas, we got Jeslau, and Nadia. Ladies, welcome to Common Ground.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you so much.
And fellas, for y'all listening on SiriusXM right now, y'all might want to go to the YouTube page. You know, they easy on the eyes too, fellas. So I'm just letting y'all know. Y'all might want to just go over there and get on the YouTube page and check them out. But let's start off the show like this, or the interview like this. First off, respect. Y'all stepping into something very early. One of the first AI-generated podcasts. What made you, or what gave you the idea to do something like this? And I guess I'll start off, AB, I'll start off with you, and then each one of you can kind of jump in and tell us why you guys decided to do it this way.
We're going into this new age of AI, and this is how the world is going. And so we wanted to jump right in there, do our thing, but keep it relatable. You're going to see us, you're going to hear our voices, and it's voices with relativity for a reason. People want something to relate to, not something that's always made up.
What made us jump into this is we saw the shift early. And while people were debating about AI, we were just like, okay, why aren't we building with it? So what we did was we saw the timing and didn't want to wait. So we just hopped right in and got into it. And that's how we just started moving forward. Just, what was yours?
I definitely felt like it was the time right now to jump into it. And people already see AI everywhere. But what they didn't see was what we have started, which was the first all-complete AI podcasting. And so we wanted to be the first ones to jump into this and take that opportunity.
Yes, we definitely wanted to be innovators and creators. Media, we're seeing a lot of things that artists are actually pushing back on AI because they're seeing AI take over in a way that it takes away from art. But we're showing you in real time it's raw, real, and us. Even if we're utilizing AI tools, we're showing you that it's our voices, our chemistry, and our relatable conversations.
Now, let me ask you this. Start with this, and we'll do the same thing. I'll start with you, Jeslau, and then we can kind of just go around the table and talk about it. When people hear AI podcast, they immediately get nervous about it because they're like, well, they could be putting anything out there. See, and I'm glad you guys answered the way you answered it first, because it was like, hey, we wanted something real. We wanted some real stuff out here that wasn't fake, that wasn't pre-made, that's not just the story that everybody's telling. So why should people listen to the podcast and understand, hey, even though this is AI, this is something that you really can learn from. It's not from an AI teaching you something, but from a human being actually teaching you something just powered by AI.
I'm probably going to be showing my age, but back in the day when we used to listen to music and there would just be colors and stuff in the background, it would just be playing. That's how I view AI as a tool. It's just there for entertainment, but what we are there for is to give you real conversations, real stories, real energy, which is why when it comes to our relatives who come in, we want you to relate to us. We want you to hear from us and know that we are connected.
Absolutely.
AI is not what you're connecting to. It's us you're connecting to.
For me, that's a reason why they want to hear from us. This is the reason why we stand out and we're different. Everything, again, isn't filtered, okay? Nothing feels made up. we're having conversations as women, sisters, friends, as business partners. And again, it gives them this uncomfortable, honest, necessary conversation that we have.
I think what people need to understand is VWR was built on real voices and our real experiences. And AI doesn't replace that. I think it actually enhances that. So we use AI to elevate our production, expand, and reach and stay ahead of the culture. But at the same time, the heart of our podcast is always going to be the human connection that we have with ourselves and start to create with our relatives.
I understand that I have a sisterhood of mothers, business women, and they're not always going to be ready and set for the podcast world where they actually have to sit down and get ready. We stay in separate places. I stay in Cleveland, Ohio. I stay in LA. In Washington, kind of we're utilizing these tools in a way that we can be innovative in the future, but also in a way that we can express art and the AI tools can do that for us. So when AB or Dreas gets off of work, we can go in and have the conversations, build our bonds, and have the moments of dialogues that we can relate to the culture, we can relate to the people that's supporting us.
I love this. I love the fact that you guys saw the shift coming early and you said, hey, we can do something and build something. And then also we can tell our stories and get other people to tell their stories so that they know they're not alone out here. They know that it's other people that's going kind of through the same things that they're going through. And Dreas, I'm going to ask you this question to start off with, and then we'll just kind of go around the table again.
Mm-hmm.
Give me one of the stories that you most liked talking about since you guys have started doing that.
I don't think it's just one story. I think it's a multitude of stories. What I love about what I hear is that how many people feel alone in something that we all go through, which is like our day-to-day things we're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going through this. What we are learning to realize through our real conversations with one another is that it's not just us. We're not alone. I'm enamored by all the stories that we begin to receive and look over because I'm able to connect not just with my peers, but every relative we're now connecting with on a relatable level because I can say, you know what, at one point, I've been through that. Yeah. And I can connect with you. So it hasn't been one story. It's been the fact that we've been getting so many that feel alienated and alone. But it's like, no, girl, we got like 500 more people going through the same thing. Okay. I think AB is a good one on this.
One of my most memorable topics that we've talked about so far, we've gotten as deep as Juanita Bynum and her speaking about the women of the church and how they dress. We had a great conversation, and that's coming up in episode 2. Hey, relatives. We talked about how church has changed for us. We all grew up in the church, wore our beautiful dresses to church, but now the culture has changed. So I may have on some jeans and tennis shoes. I may have on a nice maxi dress and some sandals. And I think that if how I brought up was correct, come as you are, you're there to receive the word. So that conversation, led us down different avenues. And I thought that was a great conversation.
Oh, yeah, because I go to church every Sunday with some jeans on and a hat. So, but I'm in there. I'm in there every Sunday, but I'm in.
Shout out to Ballentine Baptist.
I am in there.
But definitely, I agree completely with what AB is saying. That was a really good topic that we had. But one of my other favorite ones was when we was talking about Jules and Tommy.
Really?
Tommy Lee. That was a really good topic that we had because we were talking about the age gap difference. Does it matter anymore like it used to? Now we see older women who are with what is we call YNs now. Now the Cougars, the Pumas, and the
I call them Thundercats. I'm like, you a Thundercat, girl.
That's my first time hearing that one.
I'm like, you a straight Thundercat, and I ain't mad at you, girl. Go on and get your thing on, get your groove back, girl.
That was one of my favorite topics.
One of my favorite topics was when I was actually talking about the Chili situation. She's a MAGA supporter and how, in a way that certain people have to hide their truth and who they support to protect their brand and business. So seeing it in real time, how she came out to talk about, that she didn't do these things. And then now people are actually finding receipts that she actually did, and how she's been supporting them, and how even her bandmate T-Boz has said one of my members supported our president, and how some people can say, hey, I want to support you because of your political views. And some people are saying that I don't want to support you because I don't see why you're choosing to support this man. Us having our own opinions about how we come in a way where we want to be us. We also want to protect our brand and business, what to say, what not to say, because we're seeing in an age that cancel culture is honestly real. So when we're seeing that in real time, I'm happy that we talked about it in in a way because I still love chili, but now I guess I just love chili baby back ribs.
Y'all are wilding already, boy. This is gonna be fun on the YouTube. I can tell that already because look, it's such a good thing to be able to have these topics so people can hear and talk about them because it is important to know how to protect your brand, to protect your name. And in today's society, man, everybody can go on the internet and pull up all kind of receipts on you. I mean, it's just it's hard for you to say, well, I didn't do something, and you posted something 2 years ago, and people can go back and pull it and say, well, you said this 2 years ago. So yeah, I definitely agree with it.
Is freedom of speech really real? It's like you can actually pay the price for what you're saying on the internet. And that's also something that we honestly wanted to talk about. When you say, hey, I have freedom of speech, was it really free? Because we're finding out people are honestly getting canceled for the people that they support, the things that they say. They're branding business, they're losing money, especially in this economy. So that is the conversations that we want to have.
Let me ask you something, Nadia. Now that you said that, what's the most, and again, we just go around the table, starting with Nadia. What was the most shocking thing that you heard from somebody who may have been an audience member or somebody who had been listening to the podcast and they responded to something? Have you heard something in their conversations that you didn't expect to hear?
The engagement. Actually, I'm gonna be real. My boyfriend wasn't really into that type of stuff, but now that I'm doing my podcast, he said, "Ooh, babe, what's the tea? What y'all talking about today? What's going on today?" So he's enthused to see me progress, to see our art, to see our vision. Now that it makes him want to support us, it makes him want to get engaged, it makes him want to have those conversations because not only do I have them here with my girls, my sisters, and my business partners, but after we have the dialogue, we can also have them with our family and friends, and they can get involved.
You guys remember that question that was asked? If we would date those people who are healing, and do they deserve to be dated at that time?
Yes.
I thought that was interesting because we all related on different levels. Some of us said, yes, I would date someone who was healing. And someone like me, AB, I said, do not come to me in your healing process because I am not here to be therapist. So no, can't save you. No, my hands are not gonna work.
That part.
So,
Jesus Christ, you're not gonna heal them?
I love the way you're laughing because that's exactly the engagement that we expect.
Me and her had a back and forth too, so that's why it was hilarious because when she was saying that, I was like, there are some people that see people in the healing phases and they actually want to say, I want to get to know you and I'm willing to come into your life and help you on your journey however I can help you, right? You have those people that can see somebody hurting or see people, may have took advantage of them and they see the beauty inside of them and say, hey, I want to spend time with you. I want to get to know you. And whatever you're going through right now, I'm willing to be on that journey with you.
I have to agree with Nadi. My biggest thing is the engagement. My mom is a pastor, so when I have topics and content, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, if my mom hears this. I love is that we're reaching a broad range. We're not reaching just 18 to 24. We're hitting 35 to 55, and we even hitting a little bit of 65 to 70. So being able to see the range both in different generations of thinking and wisdom that comes in, that's what I love about it the most. So that engagement and learning that the engagement is across the board is that big part for me.
I love when I see the comments from the moms or the women who can relate to whatever it is that we're going through. Whenever it is that they're like, oh my God, that touched home for me. I felt that. And I'm like, I like that. Because now I feel like I touched somebody. We touched somebody to feel like, you know what, you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not the only one going through this craziness out here. Or you're not the only one who done been played with. So I love when I have those moments.
That's how I know that we're relating because the relatives are commenting, they're reflecting, applying it to themselves and knowing that they're not alone. We are here to be relatable, to be their voices of reason, some of non-reasoning, but understanding as well. And even though it's coming through AI, it's still real.
Let me ask you guys this. AI is something that a lot of people are a little bit afraid of. But I think you guys are doing this the right way. You're giving real conversations, real heartfelt conversations, and you're letting people's voices be heard using AI. Where do you see the podcast going in the next 12 months or so? And do you think this is going to become more and more of a thing where people are doing AI podcasts?
Anything.
And I guess, AB, we can start.
Right? I believe that new scares some people, but I don't think that AI is something that we should be afraid of because it's really what's happening now. Where I see our podcast growing in the next 12 months is out of this world. I believe that there will be more podcasters like us for us to be able to say we're one of the first is just a accolade for us. But we're going to give them that direction. We're going to create our own narratives in regards to what we're doing and how we're doing it. I mean, we're going to be the blueprint of it all. So I believe that it's going to be huge, and we're going to be huge in creating this space for everyone else.
Where I see our podcast, our trajectory, I see it as being the pioneers of creating a new lane, not just for us, but a lot of Black creators to own their ownness and all their creativeness. Sometimes what people need to understand is that this journey that we're on, it's actually, it's how we're going to control our story, our narratives, our distribution. And we're doing this without waiting for permission. So we're letting people know, hey, you can go on and do this. If you don't have the money to go get these $1,000 mics, these $800 cameras, or to set up a studio in your home, these are still tools in the pathway that you can use to get your podcast going up and going off the ground, and also to create different avenues. I think if people understand this is more of an opportunity versus a threat, and take that to move forward, we can all be in the same trajectory of greatness. So not only do I just see it for greatness, but I also see those adapting to the type of greatness that we're seeing for the future.
I can understand the fear that people have when it comes to AI. It's the same fear where everyone was like, oh, our money is all going digital now. We don't have the actual cash. Things are getting crazy. So I can understand the fear that people have with AI. But we're using it as a tool to still be able to show our energy, ourselves. And in the next 12 months from now, I'm seeing us bringing people to interview and putting them as AI as well. So
Oh,
that
that's
everyone
awesome.
who comes, yes, so that everyone who comes gets to be in the experience of AI. So that way they can see that, you know what, it's really not that bad. It's still real. I mean, I like to think about like Bugs Bunny, or any cartoon characters that you've seen. Those were still people back there. So it's the same thing. The only difference is that now AI is just a more advanced cartoon, basically. It's just like people who can paint. And when they draw, the pictures look so realistic. That's all AI is. It's an avatar. But we are the energy. And in the next 12 months, I see us skyrocketing to the top with that.
I think that two things can exist. I understand the fear of AI due to the loss of jobs and things like that, but I feel as human beings, we're in a constant state of practice and we're always evolving, and we have to continue to evolve with the times. We have to continue to figure things out that's going to work for us and what works against us. And we feel like VWR is going to work for us, our audience, and it's going to show people how to utilize AI tools in the right way. So how we can come together as women that's in different places, in different spaces, but still hold space together to have those relatable conversations with our relatives.
I love the fact that you guys are having real conversations about what's really going on. And that age gap thing is a big thing when it comes to women dating younger men and even men dating younger women. So, what did you guys kind of get from the conversation you guys were having there?
And the reason why we say it's real and related is because some people are in age gap relationships now, and then some people have been in age gap relationships. So we were able to come from a perspective of experience, understanding, but also it being a hot topic with our own personal opinion and views. I know some of us felt like this is out of pocket. Some of us felt like, look, que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. And then others were just like, they understand both aspects. So with that conversation, we really had a lot of fun, and we're able to get in depth. And I think we we didn't clash, but we were just strong in our feelings. And especially because we've had our own personal experiences. So I think that's what made that conversation great and fun. And I'm actually excited that that's the clip y'all told, because that was one of our funnest conversations.
I definitely love the fact that we got to keep it real about, the age gap thing, because in some cases it matters, in some cases it doesn't, because someone who may be 24 could have the mind of someone who's 46. They just have an older mentality. And then sometimes there are those who are 50 who really act like 12-year-olds. So, it's a catch either way it goes. So it was a really real conversation to have, and it was a lot of fun to have.
Since that was my segment, it was kind of funny because even when we talk about engagement, I'm actually dating a YN. I understand like age gaps and I'm keeping it real and relatable. He's in his 20s and he has the mental capacity if he's in his 40s or his older 30s, and the way he pours into me and how he has the acuity to handle my feelings with care. I related to that. I understood that because it's like when you're grown and you meet people, you may find love. And I never would have thought I would have dated somebody of that age. And now I'm just like, oh my God, this is one of the best relationships I've ever been in. So I'm really blessed for that. But when I was talking about Jules and Tommy, you also have to remember their family has history of dating older people, right? Beyonce and Jay-Z. Jay-Z was 33 and Beyonce was in 20. Solange, right? So the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So we didn't know if it was something genuine, if it was alleged stunt. We didn't know anything. And once we posted the video, Dreas and I seen in our comments that Tommy Camp actually reached out to us and told us the actual truth about the status with Jules and Tommy. And we come to find out they're not dating, they're just friends. So the engagement to see that we can produce the content and then our content can be seen by somebody that's close to her to actually give us the tease.
Yeah, that's always a good thing too, and it's a great feeling. I remember the first time that happened to me. I was actually talking about LL Cool J versus Cool Mo D. I was like, yeah, when I was a kid, I remember everybody was all crazy about this LL Cool Mo D, and Cool Mo D actually called into the show. He was like, this is Cool Mo D. I was like, this is not cool. He's like, this is Cool Mo D. And he was like, man, he was like, you got to give me some credit on some of my songs. So ended up becoming friends with him because of that. And it was just like, dude, you called me. Like, he's like, yeah, man, I listen to you every day. I was like, what the hell? Because you don't know who's seeing. You don't know who's seeing or hearing you. You just don't know, you know. And then one other cool thing happened. I was doing a United Negro College Fund event in LA, and Lionel Richie walked past me. And he was like, what's up, Truth Fighter? I was like, you know me? He was like, dude. He was like, dude, I know you. I was like, Penny Lover, you know me, Penny Lover? So he started laughing. But that will happen to y'all. You guys are going to be surprised how many people are going to be seeing this podcast, listening to you guys that you don't even know that's listening to you guys. And it's going to be somebody, and you're going to be like, oh my God, they're listening to our podcast. They're listening to our show. And it's gonna be something like wow for you guys. I can't wait to see how big and how great you guys are gonna be. We're gonna have you on the YouTube stuff. I'm definitely gonna have you back on SiriusXM with me. I love what you guys are doing. Before we get out of here, I want to ask each one of you just one simple question before we get out of here. And the question is just simply this: you've started something, you're trend setting. How do you make sure that you keep trailblazing this way and pulling other people through that same door that you're walking through right now?
I think a lot of times people get in a space where they're at the top and they don't want anyone to sit with them. I believe that what we're doing is unique to us, and it's enough room, it's enough chairs in this AI space for everyone to do their own creative thing.
I think that since we're blending culture, conversation, and technology, and it's never been done like this, we are the first pioneers of this. So we're responsible with the title, and we want to make sure that we set the tone for what can be done and how AI can be used ethically in podcasting. I think as well, integrating what AB said, not gatekeeping, allowing those to come in, paving the way, but also sharing the tools. And the one thing that we're capitalizing on is we're not keeping that AI is a secret for us. It's not a secret. That's our selling and our standing point, that we're doing real conversations and real things with the enhancement of AI. And that's how we're using our pioneering of being the first to do this like this. We're just being responsible with it and not taking it lightly, but also still having fun with it.
I think that the beautiful thing about us doing this and opening the doors for others to be able to do it is, especially in our community, is that we're going to be able in Black media to be more creative than we have before, and in our own lane, how we want to do it, and no one be able to tell us how to do it. And the thing that I found so beautiful in this is that not only are we the first to do the All AI podcast, we're the first Black, and we're the first Black women to do this. Okay. So I want the doors to be opened for us. And that right here, you don't have to worry about us gatekeeping anything. We're going to open them doors for you too.
Amen.
You get a door, you get a door, you get a door.
Honestly, I love that everybody can open that door and they can learn from what we're actually bringing to the culture. I'm so happy that these group of ladies like us came together and, somebody had the idea like Just Law to say, what about this, you guys? Let's do it in this way. And it's like, okay, let's see if it works for us, right? And it worked. It honestly worked for us. And I'm so happy that she had the idea to even go this route. And I didn't understand it. At first I was like, okay, well, let's just see how it, because I was so used to doing like a radio standard way. And so she actually opened up the floodgates to actually teach us and mold us about the AI tools and how we can utilize them. And if y'all All y'all have to do is hit us up.
That's what's up right there, man. Ladies, I'm so proud of you guys. We will definitely be supporting you guys. We definitely will have you on the YouTube channel. We definitely will have you back on SiriusXM with us again. Look, tell everybody where they can watch the podcast, where they can follow y'all.
Let
Give
there
out
be
that information.
VWR.
All platforms. We are at VWR Podcast on all platforms: YouTube, Patreon, Instagram, but even in the Bible, it
If you
says
don't
there's
have to go
VWR.
neology type in, you're our
Well, everybody, this has been another great show for Common Ground. I want to thank these ladies, Dreas, AB, Jess Law, Nadia. You guys are fantastic. I can't wait to talk to you guys again. And look, everybody, go to the YouTube page, WB Common Ground, one word. Go to the page. We're going to start doing the live shows, not this Friday, but the following Friday. And then also make sure you go find their podcast. It's in the Bible, and become a relative, y'all.